ser drag queen.
¡Ay, mi madre!
Veamos, ¿por qué quieres ser drag queen?
Porque es mi mayor sueño. Y cuando cierro los ojos es lo único que veo.
Tú acabas de encontrar a tu mentor.
Sí, por favor.
So first of all, congratulations on the film. How do you feel about everybody's talking about Jamie being finally released into the world for everyone to see after this wait, such a long wait?
I feel a relief, an excitement, and hopefully it's coming at exactly the right time. Hopefully, at the heart of this story is joy, and how a young person's need to express their joy shifts a community into creating a safe space for that joy to exist in all its gloriousness. And that sense of community and coming together and sharing that joy, particularly after the time we've had, it just feels right, and we end our film with 3,000 people dancing in the street, and hopefully soon we'll be able to celebrate like that again.
This is your first feature film as a director after years of experience in theater, including Jamie's original production, if I'm not mistaken. So tell me about this transition and how did your experience in theater help you bring Jamie's fabulous world to the screen?
Pedro, I loved every second of it, creating this movie, and of course I've been working in the theatre for over 25 years, so the centre of it is storytelling and how you tell a story, and of course theatre tells stories in different ways from what film does, but at the heart of it is holding on to the story and making sure that is authentic, real and true to itself, and this story was inspired by a real life event of Jamie Campbell, a young 16-year-old boy who wanted to go to school prom in drag, and it was a real story, a real community, and I wanted to make sure both on stage and particularly in the cinema that realness was there at all times, and what cinema allowed me to do, us to do, was take it back to the streets. In theatre, an audience's imagination creates the world with the actors on stage. It's an act of imagination. What cinema can do is take you there in actuality, in the most glorious and beautiful way, in the wide shots, in the close-up, in which you can get right into the soul of a character, But also because of the nature of this musical and the nature of Jamie's imagination, it allowed my imagination to fly, so I could really have a lot of fun with creating pop video language, with taking Jamie from a very ordinary classroom, taking him into a nightclub, taking him into a fashion catwalk, transitioning a canteen in a school to a ballroom. It just allowed full flight of imagination. I loved every second of it.
Let's talk about Max Harwood because he's sensational, as Jamie knew. How did you find him? How did you know he was the one? And I'm curious to know if there is any difference between this version of Jamie and previous iterations of the character on stage.
Max is beautiful in this film, as you know. And Max had done nothing before, This is his first professional thing doing anything. Right at the very beginning, our casting director, Shaheen Baig, put out a social media call across the country to say anybody who's interested in telling this story, send a little video of yourself, just tell us about yourself. And I remember seeing Max's video. He was from his bedroom. It was about 50 seconds long. He told of how he loved Drag Race, how he loved playing around with makeup sometimes, how he loved to dress up with his sister when he was young. He would make her play Kaniki to his Rizzo in Greece. And there was just a charm and a magic about this young man, Max. And of course we brought him in, we auditioned, we put him in drag, we read and worked with him as an actor, we made him go into a recording studio, all part of the audition process, We made him dance, But at the center of that was that little bit of magic that I saw in that initial video that came all the way through and finds itself on screen now. And there have been staged Jamies, but you can only find as an actor your own version of anybody. There was no replication, so each and every incarnation of Jamie has been totally different and encouraged for me to be different because it has to come authentically from the actor, and Max had a beautiful and still has a beautiful relationship with all the Jamies that have been on stage. They're friends, they talk to each other, but fundamentally Max created a very beautiful relationship with Jamie Campbell. Jamie was available to Max on set. He would talk to Max. They would talk about their shared experiences and their different experiences. And I think really that comes through.
So you mentioned Drag Race. What do you think about this drag revolution, as it said in the movie, that we're living right now with the show taking over the entire world and people experimenting and expressing themselves through this art worldwide? Because the real story of Jamie, when it happened, Drag Race wasn't as mainstream as it is today. So what do you think about this transition, about this revolution?
It wasn't. When Jamie did this story and we first took this story, that was just beginning. And now, as you say, it's across the world. It's in people's homes, and it shows a community that's out there, that's always been there. It shows them expressing their fierceness, their joy, themselves fully, and what Drag Race has done is brought us and a community into the world that's always been there, and just says we're part of it. We're in this world. We're part of your world. We're to be celebrated. We're here. We're part of you, and it's broke down some barriers, I think, hopefully, and at the center of our film is a young person just wanting to express their joy, something about themselves, and hopefully at the heart of it is watching that community around shift to create a safe space in which he can do that. And I think that safe space is getting bigger and bigger as more people realize that we all belong in this world together.
Well, I think you already answered my next question, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So I don't know if you know, but lately violence against LGBTQ people has escalated here in Spain, worldwide, but especially in Spain. And right now, this is a very important and big issue. So how do you think a film like everybody's talking about Jamie and queer films and queer stories in general can help us in this fight for our rights?
I hope in its simplicity and its heart and its authenticity that really I've been part of that struggle, and that struggle is represented in this film as well. We at times have had to fight for our rights to just belong, and that fight continues today. But at the heart of this is something very simple, and it shows a young person wanting to take their joy into the world. And what I would hope that joy permeates, comes through into other people's hearts, and in that joy, that fear that causes that, for want of a better word, misunderstanding and hatred that would lead to that violence, if that joy becomes normal, becomes part of us belonging together in this world, we shouldn't have to fight for our rights. We're here. We're part of this world. We're not going away. We're in everybody's community. We're here. And a lot of fear exists around our joy and crushing our joy, because joy also is rebellious and is I once said to a group of actors, joy is an act of defiance in this world sometimes, and some people see that as a threat, and it's joy. And I hope at the center of our story is, and I'm feeling quite emotional as we say this now, is something very simple. We all belong in this world together. Let's make safe space that anybody, part of an LGBTQ plus community, but also there are other communities that are marginalized, wanting to express who they are, that we all come together, create safe space for ourselves, and let the world bring that joy into their heart and make that little shift to make things different.
Well, let me tell you, I'm so glad that this movie exists and is going to be out there for everyone to see, to contribute to this, to what you said. So thank you so much. And I have to wrap it up. Thank you for everything. Thank you for your time. So Jonathan, it was great to meet you. Yeah, thank you. Likewise. Have a great day.
Deja ya de pedir permiso para ser tú.
Por si no te lo había dicho, eres la mejor amiga que desearía un chico que a veces quiere ser chica. 'Cause I'm gonna be